हेलो एंड वेलकम ऑन PMeVIDYA चैनल नंबर 3। आज हम आपके लिए लेकर आए हैं आपकी इंग्लिश की क्लास, जो कि थर्ड क्लास के बच्चों के लिए है। और आज आप अपनी पढ़ाई के साथ साथ एक बहुत अच्छी स्टोरी सुनने वाले हैं। वो स्टोरी क्या है, उस स्टोरी में क्या कुछ खास है, स्टोरी से आप क्या कुछ सीखेंगे, इसके लिए हमारे साथ ऑन शांगला जिमिक जी मौजूद हैं, जो कि JPF है NCERT के साथ में। मैम बहुत बहुत स्वागत है, वेलकम ऑन आवर शो।
थैंक यू।
सो आज आप एक स्टोरी बच्चों को बताने वाली हैं। क्या वो स्टोरी है? क्योंकि बच्चे हमेशा कहानियां, स्टोरी सुनने के लिए बहुत रहते हैं कि उन्हें सुनना है। तो आज क्या कुछ खास है?
So today I'll be narrating a folk tale from the state of Arunachal Pradesh. And so a folk tale is a story that has been passed down from generation to generation orally. Orally means by word of mouth. So this folk tale has been taken from the Orchid series, which was published as part of Samagra Shiksha educational program. And the title of the folk tale is Kangam and the Genku. So Kangam here is the name of a boy in the story, and Genku means the hornbill. So as you can see in the picture, it's a beautiful, majestic bird, and we will learn more about this beautiful bird through the folk tale.
Okay.
So before we start with the story, let's have a look at this map. So as all the viewers would know, this is a map of India. Yes, and the shaded region is the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So as we all know, there are 8 states in the northeastern part of India. So Arunachal Pradesh is one of them. So Arunachal Pradesh is located on the northeastern tip of India, and it is bordered by China, Bhutan and Myanmar.
Okay.
And and the capital of Arunachal Pradesh is Itanagar. And Arunachal Pradesh is also home to various ethnic groups, and the Adi community, the Adi people, they constitute the majority of the state of Arunachal Pradesh.
Okay.
So the folk tale that I'm going to be narrating today is from the Adi community. So let's start with the story.
Okay.
So long ago, there was a village called Togung. Not many cultivable lands were available in the village. The villagers mostly live on edible leaves and roots available in the jungle. They also hunted excessively to fulfill their needs. So the number of beautiful birds and animals reduced at an alarming rate. So as we see, the village, the land was not very fertile, so it was not suitable for cultivation. Cultivation meaning not suitable for growing crops and vegetables. So the villagers, they mostly live on edible plants, berries and fruits that were available in the jungle. And they also hunted excessively. Excessively meaning they used to hunt a lot of animals and plants. So because of which there were very less plants and very less birds and animals in the village.
Okay.
So realizing the consequences, the villagers jointly decided to put restriction on hunting for a period of 5 years.
Okay.
So restriction means the villagers realized that there were very less birds and animals. So they decided to put restriction, meaning they decided to stop hunting for a period of 5 years.
Okay.
So within a period of 3 years or so, the villagers started noticing an increase in the number of birds and animals near the village. So once they decided to stop hunting, they started noticing that there was an increase in the number of birds and animals in the village. Yes. So one fine morning, Kangam, a 7-year-old boy, came running to his father and shouting, "Father, father, big birds on the tree." I have never seen such a big bird. So Kangam here, he's a very young boy of age 7. So since he had never seen the bird in his life, so he came running. He was very excited, and he came running to his father to tell him that he saw some birds on the tree. So though reluctant to believe, reluctant here means unwilling, right? So though unwilling to believe, the father went out of his house and looked up the tree towards which the boy was pointing. Surprisingly enough, a couple of hornbill was sitting on the tree. So couple meaning pair. So 2 in numbers. So surprisingly enough, the father saw that there were 2 birds, 2 hornbills on the tree. So the father told his son, that is the ganku bird. It has come back probably after 10 long years. Your grandpa used to hunt ganku for me. So the father, since Kangam, the boy, had never seen hornbills in his life, so the father told him that the bird that they saw is the ganku bird, which is the hornbill, and it had come back after a very long time, that is after 10 long years. So they were seeing the hornbill after a very long time. And he also told his son that his grandfather used to hunt the hornbill for him when he was a young boy. So let's see what Kangam says to his father. But don't shoot it, father, please. I want to see it here in our village. Instantly came the reply from Kangam. So now the young boy Kangam, since the father told him that his grandfather used to hunt the hornbill for him, so he thought that maybe his father would do the same thing. So he requested his father not to shoot the bird. Why? Because he wanted the hornbills to remain in the village. So the villagers were all happy to see the hornbill coming back after a long time. To add to their happiness, the hornbill started clearing the old hole on the big tree. So clearing means cleaning. So the hornbill started cleaning the old hole on the big tree. So why do you think the hornbill was cleaning the tree? Let's see. A few days later, the female hornbill started nesting and living inside the tree trunk. The male hornbill narrowed the hole with some sticky mud he brought from outside. After that, the male hornbill flew back and forth bringing food and water for the female hornbill and the young ones. So at this point, it's important to mention that these hornbills, they have a very unique breeding and nesting habits, right? So breeding means the way they give birth. Okay, give birth as in we know that birds, they do not give live birth, but they lay eggs. So they have a very unique way of nesting, right? Laying eggs. So we know. So one very interesting fact about the hornbill is that hornbills are monogamous. So monogamous meaning the male hornbill and the female hornbill, they mate for life. They are paired for life. So when it's time to breed, when it's time for time to lay eggs, the female hornbill, what she does is that she finds a hole on top of a tree, and then she goes inside the hole and she locks herself up with the help of mud. But then she will leave a small opening, a small slit, through which the male hornbill can provide food and water for the babies as well as the mother. So, and also they have a very long breeding season, that is around 3 to 5 months. So during this long breeding season, the chicks, the young ones and the mother hornbill, they are totally dependent on the father hornbill for their food. That is for their survival.
Okay.
So now we see in the story that the female hornbill had started nesting and living inside the tree trunk. So and we see that the male hornbill was providing food for the young ones and the mother hornbill. So now let's see next what happens. One day the villagers were shocked and dumbfounded. Dumbfounded meaning they were shocked and surprised. They were amazed. Why? The male hornbill was lying dead on the ground. The cause of the death was only known to God. The whole village mourned his death and decided to make arrangements for keeping the lives inside the tree trunk alive. So now one day the villagers saw that the male hornbill that was providing food for the young ones and the mother was lying dead on the ground. So now the whole village, they became so sad, and now they decided that they would take up the responsibility of feeding the babies and the young, the mother hornbill. So now let's see. Two smart young boys were made to climb up the tree to feed them water and food.
Wow.
Now while doing so, the villagers noticed that a hornbill was flying into the area and was flying around the tree. Realizing that they were blocking the hornbill from landing on the tree, the villagers went back to their house and noticed the hornbill from their home. So now they say the villagers noticed that there was a hornbill that was flying around the tree, but then it was not landing on the tree.
Okay.
Why? Because there were people, the villagers were around, surrounding the tree. So now the villagers, they decided that they would go back to their respective homes and they would notice the hornbill from their own respective homes. So, as was expected, the hornbill landed on the tree. He went near the hole and fed the young ones and their mother. So the hornbill finally, after the villagers left, the hornbill finally landed on the tree, and then it started to feed the young ones and their mother. A flock of hornbills came and started feeding the mother and their young ones, one after another. And this continued for some days. So a flock of hornbills, flock meaning a group. So a group of hornbills had come and they were feeding the mother and their young ones, one after the other. And this continued for some days.
Okay.
On a particular day, the first hornbill visitor pecked on the mud wall and broke it. So peck meaning to poke or to strike on the mud wall. Right, so the mother hornbill, she had already built her nest, right? She had already sealed herself up with mud. So one day, this visitor, the hornbill visitor, the first hornbill hornbill, he came and he pecked on the mud wall and broke the
that wall.
right? So the hole became bigger.
Okay.
And the mother hornbill came out of the hole and brought out the young ones and taught them to fly in the nearby jungle. So that the hole became bigger, the mother hornbill came out of the hole, and also she brought out the young ones and she taught them how to fly.
Okay.
Yes. So one day the flock of hornbills came back and flew away with the young ones to a distant forest. Distant meaning to a far away forest. So one day this group of hornbills, they came back and they all flew away with the young ones. With tears in his eyes, Kangam asked his father if they could be able to see the hornbill again in the future. So now Kangam became so sad. Why? Because the hornbill all flew away to a far away forest. So he became so sad and he asked his father if they could be able to see the hornbill again in future. Yes, replied the father, with a vow to protect and preserve all species of birds for the future generations. So the father replied, yes, we will see the hornbills again in future.
Okay.
But with a promise, with a vow means with a promise to protect and preserve.
Okay.
Preserve meaning to take care, right? To take care of all species of birds for the future generations. So here we see that the story ends with a very beautiful message, right? That it's with a very beautiful message, which is the importance of protecting and preserving the hornbill.
And this story is with some education also.
Yes,
right?
yes. It's a very educational.
Right.
This hornbill, right? We know that hornbills are endangered species, right? So endangered meaning they are close to extinction, close to disappearing, right? So hornbills, they need very dense forest, dense meaning thick forest to survive, for the survival, because the forest is their home, their habitat. But we see how because of excessive hunting and cutting down of trees, their habitat, their home is getting destroyed, right? So it is affecting the population of hornbills. So and there one very interesting fact about the hornbill is that the hornbills are also known as the farmers of the forest.
Okay.
So, ma'am, why do you think they are called the farmers of the forest?
Maybe they are capable to do this thing like wall, hole and all. They will do I don't know.
Yeah, I will tell you. Yes, I will tell you.
Because I don't know about this bird.
Yes, okay.
So, and you are here with the story of this bird.
Yes, so I will tell you why.
Explain,
yes, sure.
Right.
I'll tell you why the hornbills are called the farmers of the forest. It's because these hornbills, they are frugivores. Frugivores meaning they are primarily fruit-eating bird. So occasionally they also prey on small insects and birds.
Okay.
But then primarily they eat fruits, right?
Okay.
So when they eat the fruit, they consume the whole fruit along with the seed.
Okay.
So they eat the whole fruit along with the seed, and then later they bring up the swallowed seed, which is undamaged, and they bring it up to the mouth and they spit it out and disperse meaning they spread it across the forest.
Okay.
So that is how hornbills they help in keeping the forest healthy and alive, right? Because they help in
very good point.
yes, they help in reproduction of plants and trees, right? So we see there is a relationship, right, between the symbiotic relationship between the hornbill and the trees, the forest, right? Because hornbills, they need trees, the forest as a habitat for their home. Same way, the hornbills, they help in the regeneration, in the reproduction of trees. So they have a relationship, right? They provide service to each other. So yes, so hornbill is like a very beautiful, unique bird.
Okay.
Yes, so
that's nice.
Yes, and now
okay,
we have yes. So now we have learned about this beautiful bird. So let's look at some of the more facts, some more interesting facts about the bird. Yes, about the bird hornbill. So before that, let's look at the different body parts of a hornbill and their functions, right? So the eye, here you see the eye of the hornbill, right? So we know eyes. What the eyes they help us in seeing, right?
All right.
So the hornbills, they usually have very bright colored eyes, like green, blue, yellow, and red. So they have very beautiful, colorful eyes. And the casque, here you see the casque is the helmet-like structure that is on top of the bill, right? So this casque, it's not present in all species of hornbill, but they are present in some species of hornbills because there are about 62 species of hornbills, right?
Okay.
So this cast that you see, which is a helmet-like structure, this is present in few species of hornbills, right?
Okay.
And the cast, it acts as a vibrating chamber. So it helps the hornbill in making their voice louder.
Okay.
Yes, because you know hornbills, they have a very loud, distinctive voice.
Okay.
Yes, so the function of the cast is it helps the hornbill in making the voice a little more louder.
Okay.
And then next you see the bill, right? The long bill. So you know why hornbills are called hornbills? They get their name from their bill, which is like shaped like a horn, right? It's yellow in color, it's shaped like a horn, and that is why the bird is called a hornbill. And as you know, the bill, they help the bird in you know, hunting. Eating, right? And then making nests, you know, making their nest, or in checking, you know, the fruit, poking the fruit to see if it's ripe or not, or even in fighting, right? Fighting with other birds, you know, for their food, right? And then there's the claw. Claw is this, the long pointed nails that at the, you know, end of their toe. Yes, yes. So this helps the bird to have a better grip of the tree. Better grip meaning to hold onto the tree better, right? Then they have this long tail feather also, right? Then we have the wing. The hornbill, as we know, they have two wings, right? And so the wings, they help the hornbill to fly. Right, then they have feather. The feather, like hornbills, according to different species, hornbills, they have different colors, right? Colored feathers. Some like mostly they are gray, black, or white in color. And the neck, hornbill, they have very strong neck muscle. Why? So that they can support, the neck can support the head and the heavy horn, heavy bill.
Bird will with multicolors, right?
Yes, depending on the species,
right.
The colors also vary.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So since I have mentioned about different species, right? So let's look at this different. So there are about 62 species of hornbills, right? So and out of these 62, there are 9 species of hornbills that are found in India. So let's have a look at these 4 species of hornbills. So the first one is the rufous neck hornbill. So as the name suggests, rufous neck hornbill meaning it's because the bird has a rufous color. So neck.
Zimik ji, we want to know more about this bird, but we have sufficient time. Right, but now it's time to wind up.
Yes.
So thank you so much. आप आई और आपने बहुत कुछ बताया, और हम भी अपने बच्चों से यही कहेंगे कि इस खास बर्ड के बारे में आपने सुना। मैंने भी इससे पहले इतनी सारी चीज़ें नहीं सुनी थी, इसलिए मैं भी इसे बहुत ध्यान से सुन रही थी। और हम आपसे यही कहना चाहेंगे, ऐसी बहुत सारी चीज़ें अपनी पढ़ाई को इंटरेस्टिंग बनाने के लिए और बहुत सारी बातें जानने के लिए पीएमई विद्या चैनल से यूँ ही जुड़े रहिए। हम यही चाहते हैं कि आप हमसे जुड़ें और बहुत सी रोचक बातें आप तक पहुँचें। तो इसी के साथ आज के इस खास क्लास में इतना ही। थैंक यू सो मच। टेक केयर, बाय बाय।